Are you a pet entrepreneur and or pet marketing professional? Do you want a place where you can gain innovative marketing strategies, receive actionable advice, keep up with the latest trends, and thrive in today's market? Welcome to the Pet Marketing Mastermind. All guests are proven and successful marketers in the pet industry. Hello, everyone. Please welcome Skarlet Rockwood, owner of Fur Social and Fur Social Academy. Thank you so much for joining us, Skarlet.
Thank you, Joe, so much for having me on.
Please tell everyone about Fur Social and the Fur Social Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fur Social is a content marketing agency specifically for pet industry professionals. So anything from brands to retailers to dog walkers and pet sitters to even some pet influencers have come through our doors. And Fur Social Academy is kind of the teaching and consulting side of that agency, where we have courses and memberships to help folks who are still just starting out, or for whatever other reason would like to do things in-house and not outsource their marketing. I basically just teach them exactly what I do for my clients so that they can do it themselves.
I love that learning mentality of like, I want to teach them, give them the knowledge base so they can do it themselves, because I think it helps everybody. What was your first marketing strategy role, whether pet or non-pet? What was that first time when somebody said, Skarlet, here's the marketing hat. Now time to get to work?
Oh man, that one was wild. My first ever social media client was about 9 years ago. And just out the gate, I took over the Facebook page for 24 different grocery stores. It was a chain up in Canada called Nutter's Bulk and Natural Foods. And so like right out the gate, I wasn't running one Facebook page. I was running 25, the brand page, and then the pages for each individual location. So that was just quite a ride into dealing with the individual managers and what they liked and disliked from every single store, doing things, tweaking here and there on like how to speak in the brand voice of each individual location. So that was definitely one of those jump off the deep end moments for me. And ever since then, I've been doing social media and other forms of marketing for lots of different types of businesses. I've worked with coffee shops, clothing stores, doctors, landscapers, and in 2020, I worked with my first pet business. And everything just kind of finally clicked in a way that it never had before. I realized that I'm getting better results. I'm enjoying the work more, and I'm finally the ideal client for the content that I'm putting out. Like, I'm speaking to my people. So that's when I decided to make what was then Scar Social into Fur Social and focus primarily only on pet businesses. And I've been doing that ever since 2020. So for the past 4 years or so.
That is fantastic. And the pet industry is, and other industries that are like it, but the passion of people coming from other industries outside and saying like, I want to be with my people, speak to my people. I feel like people in the pet industry are happier, but maybe that's my bias. Or maybe I just hang out with happy people. I don't know if you felt the same, but I love that you followed your passion into the industry. So welcome. I know you've made an incredible splash already. So maybe I'm late to the game and welcoming you. But since you were outside the industry for a little bit, obviously, the grocery store and outside brands, what have you noticed is the difference in marketing to pet owners versus other consumers?
So for me, first of all, you're 100% right about working with other pet business owners. They are very much happier people, but they're also very much, there's more passion involved, and their businesses very few of them were started because I just want to make money the easiest way, right? That's not what happens in the pet industry. We're in here we have a mission, and making money is just what allows us to perform that mission, whatever it is. So they're a lot more passionate and they're a lot more driven. And that does also mean that pet business owners are a lot more attached to things that are happening with their brand, things that are happening with their marketing. So that's a little bit of a different environment to work with in terms of, figuring out who's a good fit. And when marketing to pet parents, that's kind of one of my first things is in determining whether a client is going to be the right fit for me and whether I'm going to be good at marketing their business is I like to work with people who don't work with pet owners. They work with pet parents because most of the best products out there, they're marketed, their ideal audience is going to be people who care the most about their pets. They're not the type of people who buy a dog and then chain it up in the backyard and, feed it once a day. And that's about it. Right. So that's where the pet industry really is. It's all about love.
Oh,
Am I still here?
yeah, I think I lost you for a little bit there, but you're back. So maybe
Okay.
I lost you. It's all about love, I think.
Yeah. The pet industry really is when you're talking to pet parents, the love, the connection, and the trust that you have to build between you as a business and the people that you serve, whether it's just them buying toys and treats from you, or it's you coming into their home to pet sit, or something in between. Like there's a much higher expectation of understanding who the person you're working with is. So bringing out that relationship and that personality of your brand is really important, and building that trust with pet parents is really, really important, almost in the same way that it would be with, brands that work with, baby food or small children. Like there's this implicit extra importance on trust and your values that you don't necessarily find in, like, I don't know, if you're selling deodorant or something.
I heard once that marketing to pet owners is the dogs are always in this state of almost infancy, in where you're making every key decision for them, and that same heart and love that you'd make to make a decision for a baby, you're always making it for your fur baby for 12 years. They no dog ever grows up and moves out or makes their own purchase decisions at the store. Maybe if the bones are on the bottom shelf, they're grabbing them when they're older. But you're always
I've had a couple of doggy dates with shelter dogs who very much did make their own purchase decisions off that bottom shelf.
This is true. Mine is that I've yet to see a website where the dogs can go on and purchase, but you're always making this decision for them, and that overwhelming sense of responsibility is that, like, you're a caregiver to them constantly. And I absolutely love that you work with dog parents on brands that focus on that, because that connection is so real. And then nowadays it's getting more deep as well, as things are shifting, and millennials and the next generation are purchasing a lot of pet products. I feel like our world is becoming one where it's dog parents. They have everything from hotels to parks to airlines. Like it's becoming a whole world of dog parenting preferences.
The world is more dog friendly and slowly but surely more pet friendly in general. Although I think dogs are getting the lion's share of that right now.
Very, very much. So I know you have a bunny. Is it your chief morale officer?
Yes, Houdini. He is also a rescue. The shelter that I work with primarily works with dogs and cats, but somebody brought in a bunny in September of 2020 that was an Easter bunny that year. That, same way that we have the Christmas puppy problem, there's the Easter bunny problem. So this one, I mean, they made it about 6 months with him before they decided they didn't want him anymore. But when I was in there one day, they were like, wait a minute, you're a bunny lady, right? Can you foster him for us? Because we do not have the equipment needed. Like, he was in a dog crate in the lobby because they didn't have what they needed for him. And that's actually why they called him Houdini, because he kept escaping that dog crate. So I did agree to foster him. And after about a month, my husband was like, just call them and tell them that we're not bringing him back. He's ours now.
Yes. The infamous foster fail.
Yes.
Shifting a little bit, but certainly staying in the pet space. what marketing campaign that you've been a part of for one of your clients or maybe even your own business were you most proud of, or are you most proud of, and why?
Oh, that's such a good one because it's so hard to pick just one, isn't it? I would say probably one of the first few clients that I worked with when I first started niching down to the pet industry was a pet influencer. And she had about 4,000 followers at the time that we started working together. And in less than a year, I got her to 10,000 followers. And at the time, like that was the benchmark. That was the, like, you've made it as a brand or an influencer on Instagram, because back then that was the only way, like you were only allowed to put links in your stories if you had 10,000 followers or more. So everyone was trying to get to that benchmark so they could leverage more links to get people to whatever their offers were. So that was kind of my first, here's a very specific goal with the pet industry client that we achieved in the time that was set there. And I was very happy about that. On a more recent note, we recently worked with a brand of synthetic turf that is designed specifically for dogs. It allows grass to grow through it, and it allows the dogs to still smell the ground underneath it. And so it's excellent for like dog daycares or apartment complexes that have a yard that they want to make dog friendly, things like that. And we set them up working with some influencers and kind of educated them on the value of working with influencers on social media. And the very first post that went out from one of our influencer campaigns immediately went viral and reached like 2 million people, 2 million point something on Instagram, even more than that on TikTok. And it was like just completely exploded from this brand that at the time had like 400 followers. So it was beautiful. It almost backfired because they got so much traffic to their Instagram page that Instagram thought it was some sort of a like scam and shut the page down for like 4 days. And it took me a while to get it back online. And I'm like, well, timing's not great here because people are trying to come see the page and it's not there. But once we got it back online, like the sales were coming in through that influencer's coupon code, all the check marks you want to hit, right? That's beyond just notoriety and good content for you to repost. You also, we get a lot of eyeballs on the brand and we got sales. And I'm always happy when we end up with ROI that I can prove, because that is one of the challenges with social media. There's so much intrinsic value there that is hard to measure. There's one of my favorite social media consultants or mentors, you may want to call, is someone called Rachel Peterson. And she has done social media for, huge, 7-figure brands. And one of the things that she likes to say when people ask, well, how can you prove the ROI of my social media campaign, my organic posting, things like that? She's like, well, what is the ROI of your mother? Like, what is the value that this person has imparted to you in your life that made you who you are? Like, you can't necessarily measure that. So it's asking what is the ROI of social media is like, well, what is the ROI of social proof of someone who does hear about you from word of mouth or Google search, but then goes to your social media to see if they actually want to contact you or not? Like, this may be someone who doesn't immediately come from social media, but social media is still what wins them over, or at least has a hand in it. Or it may be, there's only so much you can measure from the immediate clicks from your Instagram to your website. Like, yes, we can measure the ROI of that when we run an ad to an offer, but you're not going to ever have that number of how many people heard about you, came to your social media, read some testimonials, watched some videos, and then decided to call you. Mm-hmm. So it's really social media is just one piece of your customer journey and your marketing ecosystem. And it all has to work together to build that brand and make that connection with the right people who are the people that you can serve best.
Exactly. I love that analogy of the mother because it speaks to like just the legitimacy of like how social media is becoming almost a requirement, because that social proof thing is like, wait, it's not on Instagram. Wait, what's wrong? Like,
I have
oh,
had
the product,
people.
yeah.
I've had people where I recommended some brand that I loved, but I had never really looked into them online because I found them. Someone gave it to me as a gift or something like that. I recommend it, and they're like, "Are they still like open? Because they don't have a Facebook page,
Yep.
or like they have
Exactly.
an
Yeah.
Instagram, but their last post is 4 years ago. Like, does their website still work?"
Yep.
um, and that
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
a real thing. It's like, there's danger to having no presence. There's also danger to having a presence that isn't active, because there will be people who assume you just closed.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I think it shows it's just a shift. And if, as a business owner, if you're not a part of that shift, you can easily get left behind. I think we could talk about this for a while, and we're going to shift just a little bit to crafting compelling social content for a pet business. So when you first step in as a consultant, as an agency, what is that? What are you doing differently than the brands that you're working with? That took maybe that content creator from 4 to 10, or an existing brand? What are you doing from crafting that content that makes it compelling, gets on the homepage, is not just an ad that's on the thing? What are you doing? What are you seeing on a post? Maybe it's the first week of posts that somebody could expect from working with Fur Social.
Right. So, counterintuitively, to get your social media and really any channel of your marketing right, you have to start before the first post. You have to have your marketing strategy in place, in that you know who you are as a brand, what you stand for, what your core values are, what you offer, what makes you different from your competitors, and who your ideal client is. And the answer is not people who have a dog. It has to be more than that. It is, what do they value? What are their, sometimes it's as simple as geographical, and you want their demographics, like where do they live, how old are they, do they have kids, what are their jobs, or how much money do they make? But you also want those psychographic information of like, what do they care about? When they're looking for a product for their dog or a service for their dog, what are they looking for? Like, are they looking for, the highest quality? Are they looking for what other people have said works the best? Are they looking for a specific list of ingredients that is safe or organic? Or, all of these things matter in terms of what sets you apart from other alternatives out there, and why they would be the person who would pick you over those alternatives. That is your ideal client. Not just, there are brands out there that can make every single dog in the world's life better. There are. But not every single dog owner or pet parent is going to be the person who buys your product over someone else's. So that's your ideal customer. It's not just the people you can help, but it's the people who want help from you, not whatever the alternative is. And the biggest thing that I would recommend there is, the biggest mistake I see people making is, in the pet industry, you will almost never win trying to compete on price. You have to set yourself apart somewhere else. There's going to be someone in China who makes something that looks close enough who can make it cheaper. So what is better about it? What is it? And what is it that your ideal client cares about? Because there are some people who care about whether it's made in the US, and there's some people who don't. There's some people who care about whether it's organic or not, and there's some people who don't. So figure out how you're setting yourself apart, how you're showing either the higher quality or higher convenience, or that you share core values. What is it that connects you as the best option for that person?
I love that, because you're going deeper. So then when that post goes out there, there's some thought behind it. There's some intentionality behind it. You're kind of like a tip of the iceberg. Like, I work with brands and they're like, oh, we want to work with all dog owners. You're like, well, that's how is that one ideal client going to know this is for them? What are you going to say to stand out, versus it just being muddied? Because there's so much content out there on social, on email, everywhere. So how are you going to stand out and win out the attention? So I love that you go backwards to go forwards.
Yeah,
versus
absolutely.
like, let's change the photo so it looks nicer.
And that's not to say that's not an important step, but how do we know what nicer means? We need to know who your ideal client is to know what they think looks nicer, and what sort of visuals would appeal to them. And same thing in the way you're writing, the personality of your brand. Are you luxurious and professional? Or are you friendly and casual? This is important in knowing who you're trying to connect with will inform what kind of brand personality will connect with them best. And then when we get to actually posting, I have kind of strategies and systems in place for determining what to post and how to balance it out. First, we figure out, what are the primary content themes, or what we call content pillars, that you're going to be talking about. What are the important topics that we need to remember to continue to talk about over and over again? So if you're a dog trainer, maybe your important topic is reactivity or food guarding or separation anxiety. What is it that you specifically work with that you need to educate people on and make sure people know you're an authority in? That would be one of your content pillars. And then I also have a signature system for figuring out how to balance content. So you're not only posting pictures of your clients, and you're not only posting testimonials, you're only posting sales posts, right? You want to balance it out. So I have what I call the creator model, which is an acronym for conversation, which is posts that ask a question or encourage a comment. Relationship, which is those behind the scenes personal posts. Engagement, the shareable, savable things that people want to send to their friends and say, this is you, or share and say, this is me. And then authority, which is it builds you as an authority. You're sharing that you've been featured in a magazine, or you are teaching them something that shows that you know what you're talking about. And then trust is where you're going to put your testimonials, your before and after posts, your case studies, things like that. Offer is your promotion. So anything where you are trying to sell something, or you are trying to get them to give you your email in return for a lead magnet, things like that go into the offer category. And then the final one is real time. So if you have a holiday or an event that's relevant to your audience that you want to talk about, then it goes in that category. And when I'm planning out a month's worth of posts for somebody, that's what I go through, is those 7 categories. And between those and your content pillars, you can kind of just about make a grid and knock out, 30 to 35 posts pretty quickly in terms of topic ideas.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I think it's having the pillars, knowing what you want to talk about, providing value, but also standing aside as an authority, and that balance. And I feel like it takes away the confusion of like, what do I post today? Because then you're planning it out. You can have more intentionality with it. You can be in the spot, but is this which letter does it fit? And I love that acronym. I might have to take that a little bit on my own side. Obviously, you are the expert on there. We're going to shift a little bit to education and keeping up with trends, kind of given this landscape of, every social media platform changing and shifting and new tools. How are you personally keeping up with the latest trends on social or from a content marketing side?
So as far as keeping up, the biggest thing is just kind of be a consumer of where you're putting your content out. If you're focusing on Instagram, be on Instagram and look at, that's one of the things I look at. What are the trends? What is Instagram recommending to me in terms of reels? Am I seeing the same audio over and over? That's going to be a trending audio maybe that I want to focus on to create some content. Is there, if you're on LinkedIn, what is happening there that you see getting traction, or that you see multiple people that you're following doing that is working for them? What's really important is making sure that you are, if you're caring about keeping up with what's happening in the space, following people in the industry that you are in, and not just friends and family, even though you can, that's great, but like paying attention to who you're following so that you are seeing the content in the right areas of where you want to be. So like I follow other pet business owners who are my ideal clients to see what they're doing. And I also follow other marketers, other social media, big names in that space to see what they're saying is coming around. And then I also keep up with like things like the Instagram blog where they literally just announce what they're doing. And, you know, keeping up with things like that so that you see like, hey, what is this weird glitch that just happened? Is this a glitch or is this a feature? And sometimes Instagram will tell you what's going on behind the scenes and sometimes they won't. But keeping up with those blogs and those spaces is really important. The biggest trends that I see right now and that I see continuing into 2024 are two things that you've probably heard every marketer say a million times, right? But number one is video, like not just on Instagram, but really everywhere now. Video is like the piece of content that is going to perform better just by nature of being video. Now, does that mean it's not worth putting out a photo if you don't have time for video? It doesn't mean that. I mean, something is better than nothing. But if I put out a quote post that is a static image and I put out the exact same quote post that is a video with B-roll behind it, that video is immediately going to reach more people just by nature of being video. So keeping that in mind. And also there's something I talk about a lot called the parasocial relationship, which is the concept that studies have actually shown that if you see someone on video and you hear them talk, your brain will start to store memories of that in the same place that it stores your memories of your friends and your family. As if you know this person, you will start to subconsciously believe you know them. This is why people fall in love with celebrities. This is why people fall in love with movie characters, because your brain actually has trouble telling the difference between someone you've actually met and someone you've seen a lot, even if it's just a one-way conversation.
Wow, that's incredibly impactful, because like you can develop a relationship that feels one-sided, but that other person is like, yeah, like they're my favorite person, even though we've never met.
Yeah.
Or I feel like I know them. Have you ever met? No, I've seen all their videos, but I feel like I know them. I've actually had that at industry events. I'll walk up to somebody and it's like, I feel like we know each other. I know, me too. I've never met you, but I
follow you on social media. Yep. And I've gotten that too. I've spoken at conferences and they've been like, oh, I know you. I follow you on social media. And I've never said anything or commented or sent you a DM. So you don't know me, but I know you. And like your brain really does feel like you've got that relationship with that person. And it's especially true when you let your personality through in your content, because they do see the pieces of you that a friend would see. And if you're not overly professional of a brand, then it's easier to make that connection.
For sure.
And the other thing is AI. A lot of folks are going, especially the folks who are trying to, cut costs and, do things a little bit more DIY. They're leaning a lot heavier on things like ChatGPT and other AI tools. And my advice there would be that it is a good tool if you use it as a tool and you don't try to let it be autonomous without any human input. I do use ChatGPT to help me like write emails and things like that, but I would never press play, submit, let it write an email and just paste it into ConvertKit without reading it. Like that is not what it's for. So just like, Photoshop is a great tool for creating digital art in a way that would make it a lot easier and faster than trying to do it, on paint and canvas the old-fashioned way. But it is a tool and the artist is still required. I like to say like the kind of where we're at with self-driving cars right now, right? You still have to sit in the driver's seat. You still have to be there to slam on brakes when it's needed. You still have to be there to nudge it a little bit when it can't figure out where the lane is. And that's kind of what I would say is the same caution I would give to AI is, feel free to explore, but don't let it drive.
Exactly. Like it is an incredible brainstorming tool. Incredible, like expand upon this. Hey, I have this amazing concept or amazing brand, expand upon it. But yeah, if you let it drive, you lose that human connection, that human touch in what you're doing. What do you feel will be pet business's biggest challenge in the next 6 months in terms of marketing? It could be skyrocketing marketing costs, the expanding costs of content creation, supply chain issues, creating issues on having things on the shelf. What is that big marketing challenge that you're feeling with your clients and you're starting to see in the next 6 months?
I would say the biggest challenge, which it may not necessarily be a modern challenge, it may be an age-old challenge, but the biggest thing that I am hearing the most from my clients and my students is just the hold on their time, and the amount of time it takes and the quality of content that is required, feeling like it just takes way too long. Like the fact that video is performing better than images is a challenge, because it takes a lot longer a lot of the times for a lot of people to record a video than it does to sit there and put together an image in Canva in 5 minutes. Now, there are ways to record a video in 5 minutes. You can do that, but a lot of people don't feel like they can. So it does take some practice to kind of get there, and it takes a lot of getting out of your own way. That would be another challenge I would say a lot of pet business owners are having, is feeling like they overthink and they have to, like, let's using recording video as an example again, like they record that video 10 times and they're still not happy with it. Or even if they're doing a regular image post, they write the caption and they're just not happy with it. So they just don't post it. So I would say the biggest challenge is making time, finding ways to make your time more efficient, and finding systems and strategizing in a way that you are doing things as efficiently as possible, like planning out all your posts at once and putting together your content plan and sitting together and doing time blocks to create your content, rather than panicking in the middle of every day because you don't know what you're going to post. And now you've spent an hour in panic mode and you've got you just put up a post of your dog with no caption because that was what you ended up with. So that's something that will really help with the time constraint. Being willing to outsource, being willing to call in those people. Like when you're elbow deep in bathing dogs as a dog groomer, you are excellent at that. You don't have to be excellent at marketing. There's always what I consider what's the word? It's not pendulum or timeline. It's anyway, on one end, there's time. On the other end, there's money. There's always going to be an investment somewhere on that line, right? So if you can do everything yourself, if you can learn, if you can put in the time to create the content, put in the time to engage with other accounts, you can do your marketing yourself. That's the far end, the time end of that investment timeline. If you don't have time, but you want your marketing to succeed, you want your business to grow through marketing, you have to invest money. And there's lots of places in the middle there where you can invest in a mentor, you can invest in templates or trainings, and still do some things yourself. You can invest in a VA or another team member who is designated to do that under a mentor or something like that. There's always something there. And that's kind of been the philosophy and the core value of For Social for a long time is, everyone's got somewhere in their journey, and some folks, they have the investment of time is what they can invest. Some people have no time. So money is what they can invest. So we offer things that are all along that spectrum. There's the word I was looking for, spectrum.
Yeah, I love that. I love that approach, because then it allows for the owners to shift as well. Because I think when maybe they're starting off and they're scrolling on those platforms and it looks like it just sort of came together. You see a post by a brand and you're like, oh, wow, that's just a single person in camera. And they said something for 30 seconds. That could have been a team of 5 crafting that for weeks behind it. And so I think having that spectrum of wow, I have a lot of time, so I can do it all myself, but I need some investment, or I have 0 time, I can just hit approve and you take care of it. An incredible philosophy of understanding that no matter where you are in your business, in 2 weeks or a month, you could be somewhere different. Maybe your calendar got completely booked because it's the week before spring break, but you still need to post. You still need to be active on those platforms. Excellent thoughts. What final piece of advice You've shared so much today, so thank you so much for your time and being so generous with it. What final piece of advice do you have for a pet marketing professional, an entrepreneur, or an executive on standing above while creating content?
I would say the most important piece of advice is to have a standard of excellence, not a standard of perfection. And what that means to me is put it out there. Done is better than perfect. And then every single time you do something, you will have more experience. You will iterate. It will get better. But the only way to get better is to do, and it will never be perfect, especially not the first time you do it. So have that standard of excellence and obviously care about the quality of what you're doing, but do that in that you put it out there and then you make it better the next time. And then you improve on something the next time as it slowly just gets better and better. And the first time you do something, it's probably going to suck, and that's okay. Let it be bad and then make it better. Don't be scared to put it out there in the first place.
I absolutely love that. I feel like a lot of people can get stuck in the thought process, and well, the whole world is going to see this, and what if I mess up, and what if I don't say the right thing at the right time? But I love that of like, yeah, you're going to get better. And what you do today is going to be not as good as what you're going to do in a year, but to get there, you have to walk through those gates.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic. People want to learn more about you or your business, where should people follow up with you, Skarlet?
So you can find me pretty much everywhere at Skarlet Rockwood. So the website is skarletrockwood.com. Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are all at Skarlet Rockwood. And my email, if you want to send me something, is skarlet@skarletrockwood.com.
I like it. Nice and easy. Thank you again, Skarlet, for joining us on the Pet Marketing Mastermind. Thank you for your insight. I will definitely be following you to gain some tips on how I can improve my business and personal social media content creation. And that creator one is stuck in the back of my mind. So thank you again for that. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Stay tuned for the next episode.